During the course of my tenure in office, I've found myself occasionally having to remind people that the role of Speaker of the House is not the same. In fact, it is very different from the role of governor. And that's a fact I'm especially grateful for here today. This morning, I'm quite content to leave the major speech-making, the articulation of the state, and the vision for our future in the capable hands of our governor. We are very fortunate to have his principle-centered leadership, and I look forward to hearing what he has to say this morning. But I, on the other hand, wanted to take a few minutes to do what I think is the proper role of the Speaker, which is to share what you can expect from this session in this House. As with last year, this House will conduct itself in a disciplined, respectful, and transparent manner. We're going to abide by our rules, and we will respect the committee process. I will always do my best to communicate clearly and strive to say what I mean and mean what I say. It has been and will continue to be my policy not to comment on your member bills. Committee chairs and subcommittee chairs will continue to have wide latitude in deciding whether to agenda bills. A bicameral legislature is a collaborative process, and no individual opinion, not even mine, should be dispositive on matters of public policy. But as you consider your own individual votes this session, let me suggest that why you vote may be as important as how you vote. It is no great political insight to observe that in this election year, a strong undercurrent of frustration and cynicism pervades the American body politic. The pundits blame the politicians blame the media, the left blames the right blames the advocates blame the activists, and what gets, in all of that chaos, what gets lost is this: the fact that we spend so much time talking about who is to blame is the very thing that drives the public's frustration and cynicism. There is a growing sense that our political discourse has become pretextual, and a fear that the politics of personal interest have become more important than public policy, and that our decision-making is driven entirely by avarice and ambition, by ego and by emotion. And members, if we are honest with ourselves, those fears are not irrational, nor are they entirely unfounded. After all, politics is nothing more or less than human behavior amplified. And the defining trait of human history has always been the struggle to balance our noble and our selfish impulses. The danger comes whenever we allow that balance to be overwhelmed by a kind of political relativism that justifies our whims to the detriment of our obligations. And no group of leaders ever understood this danger better than our founding fathers. The genius of the founders did not lie in their grasp of political or institutional theory, but in their exquisite understanding of human nature. They had seen in the monarchies of Europe the dangers of merging political power and personal desires. And so they crafted a written constitution based on the notions of limited government, fundamental individual rights, and the separation of powers. And they understood that in order to protect freedom, to secure liberty, the rule of law must always trump the laws of rulers. And any constitution, whether it's the federal constitution or our Florida Constitution, is not a collection of abstract principles. It is instead a very specific, precise roadmap, a compass, to help those of us who are temporarily entrusted with political power to follow true north.